When you're reading the script, do you visualize kind of cast and what the film's kind of going to look like for your side of things, in terms of your input? You think about who's
I was reading knowing that Zendeya was going to be Tashi, so that was already great. And then we all had the same idea on Josh. Like, it was like, Josh O'Connor, like, when you say something at the same time.
Yeah.
I knew Josh already, we'd work it together, but it's not work that gathered together. But Jonathan, actually, you brought us a tea one day in London, and we started to be very curious about one another, and really nurturing the vow, again, to work together, to do something together. And that Christmas, I had gone to see Alone in Bruxelles, a movie that I dearly love, which is one of the last few great movies out there recently, which is West Side Story.
Yes.
Which is a great Spielberg movie, when Spielberg is great. And I love remakes, as someone can know. And there, in that movie, of course, is Maria Maria, but there was Riff. And Riff was impossible, like, wow. And Riff is Mike. And that's what brings us together.
How important was that rehearsal period for you all, in terms of, because, am I right in thinking that was kind of sitting around talking through the script and, and kind of reading the script with each other, as opposed to it being a kind of physical thing? And I know there's a lot of physical kind of requirements of you all, but in terms of that specificity, it's not even a word, that specifically, how did that help you, and why was it important, if it was important?
I think, it's always important to have, it's a total luxury, really, to have certainly as long as 6 weeks. And I think, there were various things going on in those 6 weeks. We were learning how to play tennis, and and we were working out and eating. Well, Luca very kindly said that, I was kept up. Sometimes I cheated and had a burger. This man was very regimented about his food. He was very much better than me. But we would.
But very much in line of
with the character.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or his character.
Character work.
So I did absolutely right. Anyway, but then the rehearsal, we'd meet in the afternoon, and
in a church,
in like a church hall. Not an ideal venue for the film. But we'd have these amazing. We'd sit around the table, and Justin was there, and Amy and Rachel were there, and we'd just sort of figure it out. And we'd ask questions, and it was so handy to have everyone around the table, and to be able to kind of work these complex situations out. Every single scene, really, whether it's me and Mike, Z and Mike, me and Z, they're like mini challenger tennis matches.
Yeah.
And the dialogue feels like back and forth, and the opportunity to practice them was invaluable, I think.
And it's also so interesting, I imagine, as actors to have the opportunity to play a character over a period of time as well, in terms of that trajectory of where we find them at those different points, and where they are at those different points in relation to the other characters as well. It's such a fascinating kind of map to navigate, almost, in a way, Mike. Would you?
Well, yeah, because and usually in a film, you have characters that are in one setting in one place of time, and you're following their arc and their journey throughout that specific piece of time. But with this one, obviously, the time span, and I think, honestly, the kind of tone that Luca was trying to encapsulate with each time, and how it progressed from when they were younger to the present day and the actual Challenger itself. It's almost as if you're tonally in different movies as well. We talked a lot about Superbad, that movie, those early 2000s movies where the comedy's kind of like that, and so obviously, of course, when they're younger, everything is a little bit more freer, a little bit more open, a little bit more pure, maybe, in a way. And then, of course, in the present moment, when life has happened, it becomes, the actual sticky situation that these people are dealing with. And so to stick with these characters over a long period of time is of course extremely helpful, but in this way we were able to break that up in ways because of those time shifts and changes, which was a challenge, of course, and it's always a challenge whenever you're shooting, because unlike a play, you're not doing things in chronological order. You have to shoot around and whatnot, but it was even more fun because of the different tones and shifts throughout the time.
See, for me, there's one kind of point to the, almost makes it square in a way, is by adding tennis in there for Tashi, not for anyone else really, because that's her real love. That's the thing that these two can never compete with, in a way. You know, that's the thing she's lost, it's the thing she's grieving as well. Did you tap into that in a way to kind of...
Absolutely, yeah, because I think what's special about these characters is that I'm still questioning their decisions. I still don't understand. I mean, I can still sit there and pester Justin and be like, but why? Why did she do that? You know? And there's so many questions I have and things that and I think every time even I watch it, I've seen it many, many times, I take something different from it. And so I appreciate that you brought that up, because I do believe that her one true love was always tennis, and it was taken away from her way too soon, and she never really allowed herself, because I don't think she's that kind of person, the opportunity to just grieve and to understand that something monumental happened to her life, and the shift and everything she hoped and dreamed for was gone. And so she pins all her hopes and dreams onto someone that she can, someone more malleable that she can form into everything she can't have. And then she has to come to the realization that that might be over. And that might be taken away from her again. And she just wants to be close to it. She just wants to be able to touch tennis. She just wants to be around it, or live through it, through someone, anyone, and she's just trying to hold her life together. And so a lot of people kind of, and I think in interviews have been like, oh, it's a strong character, and I'm like, she's falling apart, like she's a mess. Are you kidding me? I don't know how strong she is. I think she thinks in her head and she presents as a very, strong, calculated, whatever. And I think when she's younger, this idea of these ideas of power and her enjoying playing with that is pure. It's for fun, because she has tennis and she knows the power that she wields, and she's very comfortable and confident in it. It's not until she gets older that her use of power is a means of survival. She's like, this is what I have to do to keep my life together, to keep from facing the grief and the pain that I just truly would rather not even address.
Yeah.
So I think that she's just cracking and bursting at the seams and doing everything she can to hold it together, and ultimately is codependent on other people to get out of life what she can't do on her own. And those two people, they're just intertwined and connected forever. Now, while I do believe there is love between them, of course, I think she loves them, but I think it's complicated and nothing can quite compare to tennis.
Yeah. I love